On World News tonight, security breach. How a live grenade came within 60 feet of President Bush. The FBI says the president was in danger. Showdown in the Senate. The fight over President Bush's judicial nominees begins. All over the country, people are talking about what it means for politics, religion, and the law. Our series on cutting-edge medicine, a simple, fast, and painless way to unclog arteries. The drill that works like a miniature roto-rooter. And state-of-the-art. The latest Star Wars opens tonight. The puppets in the first films have evolved to digital wizardry, technology catching up with imagination.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Reporting tonight, Charles Gibson.
Good evening. The FBI says the president was in danger. Last week, when Mr. Bush was in the former Soviet Republic of Georgia, someone managed to get a grenade near the stage where he was speaking. At the time, Georgian authorities said there was no danger to the president. The Secret Service says it didn't even learn about the incident until after the president had left the country. But now it seems there was indeed a very serious breach of security. It turns out the grenade was live and could have done real harm. Here's ABC's Pierre Thomas.
Tonight, the FBI and Secret Service have launched an international investigation trying to figure out who may have been trying to harm the president.
We consider this act to be a threat against the health and welfare of both the President of the United States and the President of Georgia, as well as the multitude of Georgian people that had turned out at this event.
Sources tell ABC News a Soviet-era RGD-5 grenade wrapped in a red handkerchief fell about 60 feet from where the president was speaking. The pin had been pulled, but the grenade malfunctioned and did not go off. Major James Gravilis is an Army Special Forces security expert.
This hand grenade has a kill radius of about 15 feet, 15 to 20 feet, and a blast radius of about 45 to 60 feet. And it has a fragmentation hazard zone that can go out to about 800 feet.
That means if the grenade had exploded, people in the immediate vicinity would likely have been killed. The president could have felt the blast, and spectators could have been injured hundreds of feet away. Security experts believe Mr. Bush probably would have been protected from flying shrapnel by this bulletproof shield. But they say, make no mistake, this was an extraordinary security breach.
Really, the issue is that someone was able to get a grenade that close to someone, a head of state making a speech. And that really is the concern.
The Secret Service plans to investigate reports that some people in the crowd were seen getting around metal detectors. What security experts fear most is that the grenade was a diversion for other armed suspects who may have been in the audience. Sources tell ABC News, had Secret Service agents been told about the grenade at the time, they probably would have evacuated the president immediately.
The phrase is cover and evacuate. The first decision is to remove the president from the scene and then sort it out afterward.
Tonight, the FBI is dissecting the grenade and looking for fingerprints at its national laboratory in Quantico, Virginia. Charlie?
Pierre Thomas in Washington. On Capitol Hill today, the long-awaited showdown over President Bush's judicial nominees began. Few Americans have ever heard of Janice Rogers Brown or Priscilla Owen, but their nominations to federal appeals courts have sparked a debate that could affect the way the Senate does its business, the future of all federal courts, and that has implications in the areas of culture, politics, and religion. It is, in short, a major debate. On Capitol Hill, ABC's Linda Douglas.
Public servant and
Senators called the debate momentous.
We are on the precipice of a crisis, a constitutional crisis.
I do not rise for party. I rise for principle.
The principle, say Republicans, is that the president has the constitutional right to appoint federal judges, and the Senate has a duty to allow a vote on them up or down.
Confirm the nominee, reject the nominee, but in the end, vote.
No, say the Democrats. The principle is that the minority has the right to block lifetime appointments to the federal bench with a filibuster if they believe the nominees are too extreme.
It's a constitutional check that the Senate was intended by the founders to provide, to keep the executive from acting like a king.
Democrats are threatening to block 7 of Mr. Bush's judicial nominees who would otherwise be confirmed with a majority vote. They say they will filibuster, tie up the Senate by talking, as the fictional Senator Mr. Smith did in a movie 66 years ago.
And I hate to stand here and try your patience like this, but Either I'm dead right or I'm crazy.
Filibusters against judges have been rare until now.
We've never seen the filibuster used for judicial nominations in this targeted fashion in American history.
Republicans used other tricks to block some of President Clinton's judges, but they argue Democrats have gone too far.
This debate is not about principle. It's all about politics, and it's shameful.
Now, the Senate Majority Leader Bill Frist is planning to make an extraordinary move on the Senate floor with Vice President Cheney presiding. He would change the Senate rules to ban filibusters against appeals court judges. And Charlie, the Democrats say if he does that, they're going to slow down all legislative business. Some moderates in both parties are trying desperately to find a compromise to head off the showdown, but so far there's just no deal.
A fight that's been coming for weeks, and they've been unable to head it off. Linda Douglas, thanks very much on Capitol Hill. This debate over judges resonates with so many people in the country, especially among those who feel that federal judges are no longer just interpreting the law, but actually making law. ABC's Aaron Hayes reports tonight from the state of Georgia.
God bless America. In places where God Bless America is still standard at community meetings, where folks talk unabashedly about faith and values, there's been a lot of talk about the federal judiciary, and it's not good.
Judges are too liberal. And they're trying to write laws with their judgments.
They think they can put their will on everybody else, and that's wrong.
There's a lot of angry people right now, and I think they're just responding to a lot of cases that just sort of gets under their skin.
Robert in Tallulah Gorge, what's on your mind today?
The judicial tyranny we talk about.
Martha Zoller, host of a Gainesville, Georgia radio talk show, says resentment's been building a long time over a range of judicial decisions.
And that's what people are so angry about.
Taking the 10 Commandments out of courtrooms, prayer out of schools, even back to legalizing abortion, an issue that still rankles.
It was a judicial decision, not a societal debate. It was handed down by the courts and forced down the throats of everybody.
The last straw for many was the recent decision by a federal judge to overturn Nebraska's ban on gay marriage, infuriating many people in other states who'd voted in similar gay marriage bans, such as here in Georgia.
Who is to say that a judge knows more than the will of the people? That is arrogance at its peak.
Not all agree.
Seems when the judge rules your way, he's following the law. When he doesn't, he's being activist.
But many say judges are now on the public's radar because their power has become so apparent.
Those issues that they address in the court are going to be issues that we as Americans are going to have to live with, for some time.
Whatever happens here, they say, will eventually hit home. Aaron Hayes, ABC News, Gainesville, Georgia.
News from Iraq tonight. There was an audio tape that surfaced on the internet today, apparently from the wanted terrorist Abu Musab al-Zarqawi, the man the U.S. blames for so much of the violence in Iraq. In the more than hour-long message, Zarqawi is both defiant and, in a change of tone, defensive. ABC's Nick Watt is in Baghdad.
Zarqawi promises suicide attacks will escalate, but suggests they are not his weapon of choice. Having direct field combat with the enemy was difficult, Zarqawi says. Therefore, it was important to intensify the suicide operations. For more than 40 minutes, Zarqawi tries to justify killing Muslims, hundreds of whom have died in his bombing campaign. Shiite Muslims are legitimate targets, he claims, because they are traitors who collaborate with the Americans. The killing of some innocent Muslims is undoubtedly a great evil, he says, but is allowed, even required, to avoid the greater evil of disrupting jihad or holy war.
He says that it's okay to kill Muslims and that it's an Islamic duty, and he's incorrect.
Throughout the tape, Zarqawi is on the defensive. If the enemy is in full control of Baghdad, he says, the enemy will succeed and will seize the whole nation.
Coalition forces are hitting on him very, very hard. He is backed up in a corner, and he's trying to get out of this corner by appealing to the largest Muslim or radical community.
That's the community Zarqawi is still trying to recruit. Nick Watt, ABC News, Baghdad.
And when we come back, the judge whose mother and husband were murdered because of her job. why threats against the judiciary are increasing. The new treatment to unclog blocked arteries, the mini drill, our series Medicine on the Cutting Edge. And the technology that changed the Star Wars, the evolution of Yoda.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Smart Balance Microwave Popcorn.
Shake up your ideas about popcorn. Introducing new Smart Balance Microwave Popcorn, the world's first to help improve cholesterol with no hydrogenated oil and no trans fatty acids. Smart Balance Microwave Popcorn and Smart Balance Buttery Spreads contain a patented balance of vegetable oils to help improve the ratio of good to bad cholesterol. Enjoy delicious Smart Balance Microwave Popcorn, the great tasting popcorn that's actually good for you.
Look, Mulch, he's about to choose a seasonal allergy medicine. Pick one of those. You could be suffering in 6 hours. Choose any of those. You could be drowsy. Allegra 180 lasts all day and non-drowsy.
Why did I even pack those others?
Not one of these allergy medicines can give you long-lasting seasonal allergy relief without the risk of drowsiness. But Allegra 180 can. Non-drowsy Allegra's worked all day. For people 12 and over, side effects are low and may include headache, cold, or backache. Allegra's gonna work all night, too. Long-lasting Allegra. The relief goes on.
To help maintain a healthy heart, your body needs potassium, like you find in salmon. Of course, this isn't something you'd want to drink every morning, like Florida orange juice.
With lots of potassium that's good for your heart, Florida orange juice.
Playing the guitar is like having a conversation.
Me and B.B. King have a lot in common.
I love to play.
He has diabetes, I have diabetes.
You got a girlfriend?
We both play the blues. He doesn't like to wait for results. I don't like to wait.
All done within 5 seconds. You just can't beat that.
Results in just 5 seconds. Ask for One Touch Ultra. One touch changes everything.
Covering grays has never been easier. Your Excellence Cream has this professional root applicator in every box, so you can easily comb grays away and get beautiful, even color from root to tip. Excellence Cream from L'Oreal. What will they think of next?
I'm not a patient man. Waiting, not my thing. 1 hour photo, too slow. Fast food, not fast enough. Heartburn, who has the time? I take new Maximum Strength Zantac. It's so fast I can take it before a meal to prevent heartburn or after to quickly relieve tough heartburn. And the leading prescription, it can take a day or more to fully work. Me? Wait, that's just crazy talk. For me, Maximum Strength Zantac.
Hey, buddy, move it.
I like this guy.
New Maximum Strength Zantac, the speed you need against heartburn.
Aaron Hayes reported a few moments ago from an area where people are expressing anger against judges. We're going to take a closer look tonight at when that kind of anger spills over into violence. There are approximately 700 threats against federal judges each year, countless more against state and local judges. Today in Washington, there was poignant testimony from a federal judge who experienced violence firsthand and paid a terrible price. Here's ABC's Dean Reynolds.
Parkville, Missouri, in March.
I know where that judge sitting.
The voice is that of a suspect sitting in the back of a police cruiser and railing against a local judge.
I'm going to take him out. I'm ready to shoot the judge.
A week earlier, a different suspect in Atlanta does shoot a judge in a courtroom and kills him. At the very same time, the Terri Schiavo case was drawing vehement criticism of judges who critics say allowed her to die.
We are not going to put up with that type of judicial arrogance.
A U.S. senator even suggested violence was an understandable consequence of frustration with a judge.
That it builds up and builds up and builds up to the point where some people engage in violence.
And then the Reverend Pat Robertson said some judges are a threat to the country.
Probably more serious than a few bearded terrorists who fly into buildings.
Today, one of those judges said enough.
The fostering of disrespect for judges can only encourage those who are on the edge or on the fringe to exact revenge on a judge who displeases them.
Judge Joan Lefkoe was not speaking theoretically when she addressed Congress today. Last February, her